The wind howled across the frozen plains of Therax 9. Snow whipped through the air like sharp blades. Logan pulled his thermal coat tighter around him, his breath fogging up his helmet visor. Beside him, Rhea scanned the ground with a heat detector. Nothing, just ice and rock, miles and miles of white death. Jin followed a few steps behind, carrying the emergency drill, shivering with every step. They had crash-landed 2 days ago, their ship hit by a storm while surveying the planet for rare minerals. Now they were running out of food. The emergency shelter was broken. The cums were dead, and the temperature kept dropping. We need to find something. Logan said through the comlink, or we freeze tonight. I'm trying, Rhea answered, tapping the scanner. Wait, hold on. A red blip flashed on the screen, small, weak, and just below the surface. Something warm is under the snow, she said, eyes wide. Could be tech or maybe an animal. They started digging. The snow was thick, packed hard by the wind. Jin used the drill to break the top layer, then dropped to his knees and scraped with his gloves. Minutes passed, and then he froze. Guys, I found skin, Logan rushed over. There, beneath a thin layer of ice, was a face, not human, but close too close. The skin was pale blue, almost glowing. The eyes were closed, lashes frosted, and long silver-white hair spread across the ice like silk. She wasn't dead, not yet, but her skin was ice-cold to the touch. Rhea put a hand on the girl's neck, feeling for a pulse. Still alive, she whispered, but barely. We have to take her back to the shelter, Logan said, already wrapping her in his coat. She won't survive out here. Jin hesitated. What if she's dangerous? Then we die saving her, Logan snapped, because leaving her here isn't human. They carried her together, struggling through the snow. The storm grew worse, wind screaming louder, ice biting through their suits. By the time they reached the damaged shelter, Logan's fingers were numb, Jin's lips had turned blue, and Rhea was limping. Inside the shelter, the heater was flickering. The backup generator had failed during the crash. Logan placed the alien girl on the floor and checked her again. Still alive, but her body was cold as stone. We need heat, Rhea said, checking the ruined heater. But this thing's useless now. I know what to do, Logan said slowly, looking down at the girl. She's freezing to death, and we're the only heat source here. You mean ... Jin started, blinking. Use our own body heat? It's the only way, Logan said. We take shifts, or we all lose her. They laid beside her, one at a time, pressing close to share warmth. At first, nothing happened. Her skin stayed cold, her chest barely moved. Then faintly, they saw a glow, soft, dim, rising from under her skin. Strange glowing symbols appeared along her arms and neck. They pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. She's reacting, Rhea whispered. To us. Logan didn't understand how, but he felt something, an emotion, not his own. Fear, deep and sharp, mixed with sadness. Was it coming from her? He looked at her face, so still, so fragile. She looked young, maybe their age. And yet something about her felt old, ancient. Not just a person lost in the snow, but a secret buried for centuries. The wind outside screamed louder, shaking the walls of the shelter. Inside, the girl's breath grew stronger, more steady. Her eyes stayed shut, but her body began to warm. She was still weak, still helpless, but something inside her had come alive. We found her under the snow, Logan said softly, but I think she's the one who's going to change everything. No one spoke after that. They just listened to the wind and the quiet, steady sound of a life returning from the edge of death. Asterisk. The storm outside didn't let up. The wind roared like a beast, shaking the metal walls of the damaged shelter. Inside, it was dark and quiet, except for the soft breathing of the alien girl lying between them. Logan sat with his back against the wall, staring at the girl's glowing skin. He had never seen anything like it. The soft lines that had lit up earlier were fading now, but a warm pulse still ran through her body. It wasn't natural heat. It felt alive. She was still unconscious, but her chest rose and fell slowly, her breath fogging up the thin air. Rhea took the next shift beside her, pulling the thermal blanket tighter. She had questions, too many questions. Why was a humanoid alien buried under the snow in the middle of nowhere? And what were those glowing patterns that appeared on her body? Were they part of her biology or some kind of hidden tech? Jin paced slowly near the entrance flap, peeking outside every now and then. The whiteout was so thick he could barely see past his hand. "Logan," he said after a while. "That scanner's picking up movement again, same direction as before." Logan didn't move. "Probably another storm shift." "No," Jin replied, his voice unsure. "It's too steady, like footsteps." They looked at the scanner together. A faint signal pulsed every few seconds. Something moving under the snow, slowly circling. It wasn't the wind. And it wasn't an animal. Whatever it was looking for something, or someone. The alien girl stirred, her fingers twitching, her brows tightening like she was having a nightmare. Then suddenly her eyes opened. Bright golden eyes, wide and glowing. She looked straight at Logan, then Rhea, and her lips moved, but no words came out. Instead, they all heard it. Not through their ears, but inside their heads, a single word. Broken and soft. "Run." Logan felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold. The girl tried to sit up, weak and shaking, but her body collapsed again. Rhea caught her gently and whispered, "Who are you? What's out there?" Again, the voice echoed in their minds. "Danger. Hunters. Coming. Jin backed away from the scanner, his voice shaking. "She's right," he said. The signal just tripled. Logan grabbed the emergency light and scanned the shelter. It was falling apart, one side barely holding up under the snow, the heater still dead, and now they were being hunted. "She's connected to them somehow," Rhea said. "They were tracking her, maybe still are. Then they'll find us too." Logan answered, "Unless we do something fast." The girl tried to speak again, but only one word came through, heavy with fear. "Burn." The meaning was unclear, but the fear behind it was real. Jin checked the scanner again. 3 figures now closer, same direction. They had no weapons, no working comms, and no help coming. But for some reason, this alien girl had been left out there to die. Why? Logan stood, jaw tight, eyes cold. He looked at Rhea and Jin. "If they want her that badly, she must matter." "Then we protect her," Rhea said, standing too. "Even if we don't know why." Outside, the snow shifted again, and faint shadows moved in the storm. The humans had a choice: wait and be caught, or fight with what little they had. And somewhere deep in the girl's glowing skin, those strange symbols flickered back to life, as if something inside her was waking up, slowly, dangerously. And it was human warmth that had brought it back. The glow from her skin was stronger now. It pulsed like waves, soft and warm. And each pulse sent a strange energy through the room. None of them spoke for a long time. Not because they didn't want to, but because they felt something was listening. Something outside the shelter, in the storm, waiting. The alien girl, still lying weak between the 3 humans, turned her face slowly toward Logan. Her lips parted, and her voice came out not with sound, but with thoughts, clearer now, smoother, but still broken. "Cold. Chase. Pain," she said inside their minds. Jin stepped back, heart racing. "She's not just reading our thoughts, she's sending them." "Telepathic," Rhea whispered. "Like a living transmitter." The girl raised her hand slightly, and the glowing patterns on her skin shifted like moving ink. Strange symbols swirled along her arm and shoulder, fading and reappearing. Rhea stared in awe. "These aren't just marks, they're a language." Logan knelt beside her and asked, "Who hurt you?" The answer came slowly, like a memory wrapped in fear. "They came in fire. Metal beasts burned my world, took the stars." Images followed flashes in their minds. A city made of glass and stone, towers rising into the sky. then collapsing under explosions, flying machines tearing through clouds, and voices screaming. And in the middle of it all, this girl, running through snow and smoke, chased by dark shapes with red eyes. Logan broke the silence. She's the last of something, and now they're hunting her, Jin added. Maybe. To finish the job, the shelter lights flickered, and outside, the scanner beeped louder. 6 signals now, not 3, moving closer, surrounding them. Rhea reached for the emergency flare gun, the only thing left that could work as a weapon. "Do we run?" she asked, but even as she said it, they knew they couldn't. The girl wouldn't survive another hour in the storm, and the shelter was barely holding together. The alien girl's golden eyes slowly turned toward the scanner. Then, something strange happened. One of the glowing marks on her hand lit up brighter than the rest. The scanner stopped beeping. The screen went black for a moment, then showed only static. She did something, Jin said, stepping back. She's messing with tech. The girl closed her eyes again, weak from the effort. Her voice came once more, softer, fading. "Am not complete." Logan looked at Rhea and Jin, a thought forming. She's broken wounded. But maybe not just in her body. Maybe in her memory too, Rhea added. She doesn't even know who she really is. What if she's a weapon? Jin said, suddenly worried. What if they didn't chase her to kill her, but to stop her from waking up? Outside, the wind began to change. It wasn't just a storm anymore. A low sound rumbled through the ice metal scraping. Humming, something unnatural was moving across the snow. Inching closer to the shelter, inside, the warmth was fading again, and the alien girl began to shiver. Logan laid beside her, placing his hand on hers. Her skin lit up where they touched. Not with light, but memory. A new vision filled his mind. This time, it wasn't a city or a war. It was a starship, broken and burning. Her lying inside a cryopod, being launched through space. Alone, forgotten, like cargo thrown away. He gasped as the vision ended, breath quick and shallow. "She's not from this planet," he said slowly. "She was sent here, like an escape pod. Then why did they bury her under the ice?" Rhea asked, confused. "Maybe they didn't," Logan whispered. "Maybe the planet did. They didn't understand what she was yet, or what would happen when she fully woke up. But they knew one thing, she had survived something terrible. And they had pulled her from the edge, whatever came next. They were no longer just explorers or survivors. They had become something more, protectors of something not yet understood. And outside, in the white silence, the hunters were almost here. Asterisk snow fell like ash, slow and silent. But under the stillness, the ground was trembling. The 3 humans stood frozen in place, listening, waiting. Something was out there. Close now, too close. The alien girl lay still again, her glow fading with every minute. Logan knelt beside her and whispered, "We need to move." Rhea shook her head. "We can't, she's too weak." Jin checked the scanner again, trying to force it back on, but it was useless. Whatever she did to it, it's dead. He muttered, "We're blind." Outside the shelter, something scraped across the ice. Not wind, not nature, but metal, sharp and heavy. Then, a deep mechanical sound echoed through the storm, like a growl, or an engine breathing. They all looked at each other, hearts pounding. The alien girl stirred, her body shivering uncontrollably. Rhea placed her hands on the girl's arms, trying to keep her warm, but the girl's voice returned. Inside their minds, shaking with fear. "Hide. Burn light, not see heat, what does she mean?" Jin asked, looking around. "She's afraid of something that sees warmth," Logan said slowly. "They're tracking heat." Rhea realized, not movement, not sound, our body heat. Logan stood and rushed to the storage crate, pulling out the last of the flare foam. "We coat the shelter in this. It reflects heat. We make the inside cold. Then we'll freeze," Jin argued. "Not if we share heat, like before," Logan replied. "Just enough to survive." They moved fast. spraying the walls with the reflective chemical, covering vents and corners. The heat inside dropped fast, their breath turning to mist. They wrapped themselves and the alien girl in one large thermal sheet and huddled together, not moving, barely breathing. Minutes passed like hours, then thump. A shadow moved past the outside of the shelter. Another thump, closer, heavier. The alien girl's fingers dug into Logan's sleeve. Her voice came again, but this time it was different, sharper, more alert. Not machines. They were machines. What? Rhea whispered. You mean they're alive, inside? The girl nodded weakly, eyes glowing faint gold, hollow ones. Cold minds. No mercy. Outside, something hissed. The entrance flap moved slightly. Snow blew in. Jin tightened his grip on the flare gun, ready to fire, but Logan put a hand on his arm. Wait, he said quietly. If they don't sense us, they might pass. Then a sound cut through the air, one high-pitched and horrible, like metal tearing against itself. The alien girl screamed, not with her voice, but through their minds. Pain filled the air, raw and heavy, and suddenly, the creatures stopped. Walking, they heard her, Jin said, heart pounding. One of the shadows moved toward the entrance. The flap lifted, just slightly. A red light scanned the room, slow and searching. They didn't breathe, didn't blink. The alien girl closed her eyes tight, trying to stay silent. But her glow betrayed her soft light, leaking through the fabric. Logan reached for a piece of broken metal beside him. If it came in, he would fight, even if it meant dying. The red light hovered near the girl, then flickered. A pause, then retract. The flap dropped, and the sound of retreating footsteps followed. The creatures were leaving, slowly. It was over, for now. Everyone exhaled at once, the silence almost as loud as the fear had been. The alien girl opened her eyes and whispered inside their minds again. You hid me. I owe you. Jin sat back, still holding the flare gun. We almost died because of you. Logan gave him a look, but didn't argue. He understood Jin's fear, but something deeper was growing inside him, a strange respect for this being who had barely survived yet still wanted to protect. Who are you? Rhea asked softly. The girl hesitated, then finally answered. I was called Elia, outside. The storm began to ease, but all of them knew this was only the beginning. Whoever had come for her would return, and next time, they might not walk away. The storm had passed, but the cold remained. It crept into their bones. Slow and steady, inside the shelter. The silence was strange, almost unnatural. No one spoke for a long time. As if words might bring the enemies back, Elia was resting. Her head tilted against Rhea's shoulder. She was breathing evenly now, but her skin still held a soft glow. Logan checked the seal on the emergency door and looked at the scanner, which was flickering back to life. The signals were gone, but static pulsed in strange rhythms, almost like code. It didn't feel like safety. It felt like a warning. She's stable for now, Rhea whispered, brushing Elia's hair away from her face. She's warm again, Logan nodded. But his jaw stayed tight. They'll come back and next time they won't just scan. They'll tear the shelter apart. Jin was sitting by the broken heater, staring into nothing. I still don't get it, he said quietly. Why her? Why go through so much to kill one girl? She's more than just a girl, Logan replied. You saw what she did to the scanner, how she blocked them from tracking us. Elia stirred then, her voice returning gently in their minds. They fear what I carry, inside. What is it? Rhea asked, leaning forward. A weapon? No, Elia said slowly. A key. The word hung in the air, heavy and strange. Logan frowned. A key to what? But Elia didn't answer, her eyes slowly closing again, too weak to speak more. Or maybe afraid of what the truth might mean. Hours passed, the wind outside whispering like a ghost. Jin finally stood and said, I say we leave her behind. Both Rhea and Logan turned to him, shocked. She's the reason we're being hunted, Jin said sharply. We're not soldiers, we're not heroes, we didn't sign up for this. She's alive because of us, Rhea snapped. And we're alive because of her. Jin stepped back, breathing hard. This isn't our fight. Logan looked at him, calm but firm. Maybe not, he said. But we're in it now. He pointed at the scanner, which now showed a new signal one far off, blinking steady. A ship, Logan said. Could be a rescue signal. Jin moved closer. Human? Looks like it, Logan nodded. But it's hours away. And we'll have to travel across open snow. They all turned to Elia, still wrapped in the blanket. She couldn't walk, not yet. If they wanted to reach the ship, someone would have to carry her. Rhea stood without hesitation. We carry her together, Jin hesitated, then looked at Elia again, for the first time. He noticed the fear on her face wasn't just about survival. It was guilt, like someone running from something they had never meant to bring. He sighed, rubbing his eyes. Fine, he said, but if they catch us out there, we're done. Elia opened her eyes and whispered, this time with her real voice, I will protect you. If I wake again, they packed quickly. Wrapping Elia in every layer of warmth they could find, Logan lifted her first, holding her close against his chest. She weighed little, like she was made of light instead of flesh. They stepped outside into the quiet white. The world looked calm now. But every step forward felt like a countdown. Above them, the clouds were clearing, and pale stars shimmered through. Elia opened her eyes once more, just for a moment, and in that instant, Logan felt something he couldn't explain, not words. Not pictures, but a deep feeling, trust, hope, and something else too, a promise. If they got her to that signal, something would change, not just for her, but for them, and maybe for all of humanity. The snow cracked beneath their boots as they moved across the frozen land. The sky above had cleared just enough for the stars to shine like silent watchers. Logan carried Elia close to his chest, her body faintly glowing. Her breath shallow but steady. Rhea walked ahead, scanning the path with a low-light torch. Jin followed behind, his eyes scanning the dark horizon, always watching for movement. The signal from the possible rescue ship blinked on their scanner like a heartbeat. Each step toward it felt like a race against something unseen. The air had turned colder again, too quiet, like the world was holding its breath. Suddenly, Elia stirred in Logan's arms. Her eyes opened slowly, golden and full of light. But this time, she did not speak in their minds. She raised one hand toward the sky, her fingers shaking, and whispered with her voice, "They are waking." No one asked what she meant, because the ground beneath them began to shake, a soft tremble, like something massive moving far below the surface. Rhea looked back quickly. "We need to move faster." Jin ran ahead and stopped at the edge of a frozen ridge. Below, it was a vast flat stretch of ice, and in the distance dark shadows, tall, towering machines standing still in the snow, barely visible under layers of frost. But now they were turning slowly, as if they had sensed something. "They're not part of the storm," Jin whispered. "They've been waiting." Logan looked at Elia. "What are they?" She blinked slowly and replied with a single word. "Sentinels, machines forgotten by time, buried in the cold, and now rising again, as if Elia's presence had called them back to life." Energy sparked in their chests, dull red lights, warming like eyes slowly opening. Rhea gritted her teeth. "We can't fight that." "No," Elia said softly. "You don't need to." Her glow brightened suddenly, flowing through her veins like liquid light. She lifted her hand toward the sentinels, and the light from her body shot upward bright and wide. A column of gold pierced the sky. The machines froze in place, their lights flickering. Then something impossible happened. The lead sentinel knelt, metal groaning, its head bowing as if in respect. The others followed, one by one, machines the size of buildings kneeling before the tiny girl in Logan's arms. Jin stared in shock. "What is she?" Rhea couldn't take her eyes off Elia. "She's not just a key," she whispered. "She's their queen." Or commander? Or maybe both? The golden light faded slowly, and Elia collapsed again, her strength drained. But the sentinels didn't move. They stayed down, silent guardians in the snow. "We're not alone anymore," Logan said softly, holding her closer. "She turned them off," Jin added. "Or maybe she made them remember." They continued walking. Past the frozen giants, across the long plain. The rescue beacon was closer now, blinking bright and strong. But the meaning of rescue had changed. It wasn't just about leaving the planet anymore. They were carrying something precious now, something old, something powerful, and whatever she was. She had chosen humans to protect her. Rhea looked back one last time. The sentinels stood silently in the snow behind them. Still bowed, still waiting. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew they had already stepped into something much bigger than survival. They had become part of something ancient. And it all started the moment they found a girl buried under the snow. The signal grew stronger, its pulse steady and clean. They were close now, just over the ridge ahead. The snow had softened beneath their boots, no longer biting like before. But the cold was still there, waiting to remind them how easily it could take everything away. Logan's arms trembled as he carried Elia. Her body felt even lighter now, almost weightless, like she was turning into light. Her face was peaceful, her golden eyes half closed. "She's burning out," Rhea whispered, walking beside him. Jin didn't say anything, but his jaw was clenched tight. He had been silent since the sentinels knelt. Something about that moment had shaken him deeper than he wanted to admit. They reached the top of the ridge, and there it was, a sleek human rescue pod. Half buried in snow but humming with warmth. Its lights blinked green, scanning the area, ready to receive survivors. A voice came from the pod's speaker, calm and familiar. "Life signs detected, atmosphere stable, open hatch." The door slid open, revealing warmth, light, and the promise of safety. But no one moved, not yet. Elia opened her eyes and looked up at Logan. Her voice came through softly. Not in their minds this time, but from her lips. "This is where I leave you." "No," Logan said quickly. "We're almost there. You'll be safe inside." She smiled faintly. "I was never meant to leave this place." Rhea stepped forward, shaking her head. "Why? Why let them hunt you? Why run if you weren't going to escape?" Elia sat up slowly, the last strength in her body glowing just beneath her skin. "Because I had to find someone who still cared," she said, looking at all three of them. "Someone who would protect without reason, without gain. Someone human." Logan's throat tightened. "You used us." "No," Elia said gently. "I chose you." Jin finally spoke, his voice low. "You said you're a key." She nodded. "I am the last memory of a lost civilization, the only one left. Who remembers the voice of the stars? When the war ended, I was placed here hidden, forgotten. To keep you safe?" Rhea asked. Elia looked out over the snowy horizon, her eyes filled with ancient sadness. "No," she said. "To keep others from finding me." "But now they know," Logan whispered. "Yes," she said, "and soon they will come in." Greater numbers. She stood, unsteady, but taller now. Her light was brighter than before, not weak pure. A warm wave of energy rolled across the snow, and the wind stopped, just for a moment. The silence was deep, like the planet itself was. Listening, Elia stepped forward and touched the control panel on the rescue pod. The lights inside dimmed, then changed, now glowing with the same golden hue as her skin. She looked back at them one last time. "You gave me warmth when the universe offered me only ice," she said. "And in return, I give you this." Pulse of light traveled from her hand into the ship. Data flowed like rivers, screens lit up, and unfamiliar symbols danced across the interface. The pod was no longer just a rescue craft. It had become something more. Connected, awakened. Logan stared in disbelief. "You upgraded it." "She gifted it," Rhea said, eyes wide. "Her knowledge, her memories." "All of it." Jin stepped back, stunned. "That's enough to change everything." Elia smiled, weak now, her glow fading. I will remain here where I was made, she said. But you will carry my voice to the stars. Her body became softer, almost translucent. The snow beneath her glowed. Gold. And then slowly she vanished. No flash, no sound, just warmth fading into the air. The three humans stood in silence. Not because they were afraid, but because they knew, deep down, they had witnessed something beyond words. Logan stepped inside the ship first. It felt alive now. Like Elia's spirit still lingered in every surface. Rhea followed, then Jin. Still quiet but no longer cold, the hatch closed behind them. Engines hummed, navigation lit up, and a new message appeared on the screen. Coordinates unknown, destination. Begin again. As the ship lifted from the frozen planet, they looked back one last time. The Sentinel stood tall on the plains below, silent, watching, waiting, and somewhere beneath the snow, a heart once frozen now burned forever.